Greetings, viewers, and thanks for joining me out here for another segment on this pickup project. When I left you last time, I had a lot of stuff hooked up and I was still waiting on delayed parts. Well, they're on their way today. I did get my oil filter and oil. So I went ahead and did the oil change. Excuse me, you didn't really miss anything there. And I think it's funny that the drain plug on this little engine is a 19 millimeter plug. That just strikes me funny. 4.5 quarts, got fresh oil in, got a new filter on, got rid of that great big giant filter that took up so much room down there. Now you can see that other sensor in the back there with the yellow wire that's just hanging. I got to figure out where that one goes. I think that's the one that makes my light work. Now, when I was out here cranking it with the button, I did take the cap off the oil and crank it and watch the oil flowing up there. So I know it's getting oil like it should. Okay, stop to play with the dog there for a minute. So I know it's getting good oil up to here. While you got your fuel pump off, don't crank the motor. I will eventually probably, definitely maybe put gauges on this. I will in due time so that I can monitor oil pressure. It's got a temperature gauge in the dash. Oil pressure is really the only one I need. I got my battery tie down put in. That is the water pump leaking there, so I did order a new water pump. That's going to be another episode after when I change all this stuff on the front. I ordered new belts, new thermostat, new water pump. I went ahead and I ordered a timing set, but I want to show you something while you got your oil pump or your fuel pump off. Can you see in there? No. Yeah, there you can. You can see your chain in there. Hang on. There, you can see your chain on both sides. On this side over here, you can actually get to that with a screwdriver and push on it. You can visually inspect the top gear, both sides of the chain, and get a look to see if it's rubbing the side or if the guides are still there. This one I pushed on it. It's got some slack, but it springs right back. The chain doesn't look like it's wearing on that side over there, but I went ahead and ordered the timing set. Now, one great thing about this, which I'll go over prices that I've spent on things. May reveal the price that I spent on the truck, may not. All depends on how I feel that day. I know which one. This is my return line. This is my pressure line. I'm ready for those when I get my new. Go ahead and put that rag back in there where I showed you. But yeah, you can look at that timing chain now. Like I was saying, the parts for this are so cheap. I got this carburetor. That was $100 on eBay. I ordered a whole bunch of little things that I'll reveal to you here in this episode too, that I got for this that are really, really inexpensive. So it's nice to see it inexpensive. Makes me feel good to have fresh oil in there. It says you can run a 1030, 1040, or 1050 in here as long as it's not winter time and to run a 1030 in winter. Now I'm running a 1030 to start with. And if that is really loud and noisy and I think it needs something more, I might change it out and run 1040. The oil that came out was really dark, but there was nothing wrong with it. It was just black. It smelled a little of gasoline, but not terrible. I'm really happy with the way everything is moving along here. The coolant, of course, is leaking. That's why I ordered the water pump. That's not going to stop me from doing the start on this episode when the rest of my parts get here. I did finally push on the clutch pedal, and it did make it leak and spray out some clutch fluid, so no big deal there. I knew that line was bad. We're going to make one. I pushed on the brake pedal. The brake pedal feels like it maybe has some brakes. It's got power brakes. Of course, the engine isn't running. They may need bled, who knows what, but the fluid wasn't down on them. I'm going to see how those work once it gets going, but I'm going to have to replace that clutch line because clutch pedal has nothing. Now, when I first pushed the brake pedal and the clutch pedal, they were stuck solid in the up position to where I couldn't even push them without really trying, but they did push down. Made me happy. I want to show you, and I know this is a far cry from where it came, but I wanted to show you the interior. One, the really nice door cards. I went ahead and put as much of this together as I could with the the kick panels, and I put the the threshold trims in, whatever they're called. Now I got one new pedal pad. I got another one on the way, but it arrived like that. Putting those on new always makes me happy. And they're like $1.50 a piece on Rock Auto. It might be $5 at your local auto parts store, but they're only literally like $1.39 on Rock Auto. I'll go over some other stuff that I got too. Got the dash all in and cleaned up. Can't get the fuel gauge working, can't get the oil light working. Those are small things I'm not really worried about at this time. I went ahead and put this part in. I did have to take this panel back loose to get that bolt over here. I put back in all the bolts that were available. Some of them had been ripped out. That end over there is not secure. There's no place to bolt up or for me to put the glove box in. Of course, I don't have a radio. The temperature controls don't need to be in. I did bolt the defroster vents in up there. I installed this mirror just because it was one I had. It doesn't fit right, but it is a rear view mirror and it is lighted and it will work for now. These visors came out of a 3rd Gen 4Runner. They clearly don't fit quite correctly, but they do fit and work, and that makes me happy. I went around and cleaned up the door cards just a little bit. I put me some boots I had. Again, not exactly the right pieces, but better than no pieces. And that e-brake is frozen up at the wheels, so that, in case I mentioned that before. Been scrubbing on the steering wheel. It's getting better each time, but it's taken a bit of scrubbing to get it done. I'm going to clean the windows next. I probably meant to do that before I started showing you all this. Now, I didn't have a cool blanket, but I had some old sheets, so me and the dog have already been in here getting these sheets dirty. We had to sit in here and pretend like we was driving one day. I got those shocks yet to put on. There's the air cleaner post for my carb if I ever get one, an air cleaner that is. There's my new fuel line, waiting on my pump to show up. Yeah, I am really happy. Now, I mean, it's got a long ways to go, don't get me wrong, but I am really happy with the way this is. As you can see here, there's about an inch left in that Febreze fabric. I've been spraying everything down, anything like wire harnesses and stuff. I've scrubbed and wiped and cleaned, and like some of this residue. Now that one I didn't clean, but that one I did. And yeah, it's just not coming off. Now this is where it's been leaking clutch fluid down inside here, but it's no rust hole. Again, with the interior, I'm really pleased indeed. On the fuel tank, now again, I haven't pumped any fuel since I cleaned this out and put it in. I did find that sock at the bottom. I call it a sock. That one's not really like a sock, but that's what they're called to me. And I put it back on. I cleaned it up, got all the crap out of the inside of it by flushing it repeatedly, and I put it back on because the one I ordered is going to take 12 days to get here, and I should have everything else ready to start this truck here in my afternoon parts delivery. I already got one box of goodies, but I got another box coming. Now, even though pieces are missing, it still kind of stinks in here a little bit. This truck will live with its windows down, I think, for the rest of its life, or until I can get rid of that smell. I'm super excited. The interior looks great. Yeah, like I said, me and Oswald had to sit in there and make noises like we was driving, and he just loved it. I might post a picture of his face in there. So anyway, loving it. Abso-freaking-lutely loving it. Oswald's feeling neglected. I'm going to quit rambling on about this 10 minutes in already, and I haven't even started putting the plugs and things in yet. So I'll be right back. Hey viewers, welcome back after lunch, and the second parts thing has arrived. My second part shipment. I have everything I need now to see if this baby will fire up. I'm excited. We're getting ready to put all that on. You know, I went ahead and I ordered the timing set and stuff, and I was talking about how cheap all these parts are. I've only spent a couple $100. It was like $109 to get all the tune-up, the cap rotor, plugs. I got the pedal pads, I got windshield wiper blades, I got PCV valve. Anyway, yeah, if you go on Rock Auto or other places, or even Toyota has some still, parts for these are crazy cheap. So I'm pretty happy about that. I'll edit that out. I did put that other pedal pad on in there. I talked to a friend of mine who may have some of the HVAC boxes that I need for inside. Did the oil change yesterday. Got my cap. Got my plugs. Got the rotor. New wires. The new fuel pump, and it did come with that spacer and 2 gaskets. So let's dive into this. I'm gonna grab that fuel hose. I got some new clamps and put some of that on. And yeah, wind this baby up a little bit and see if we can't make something happen here. All right, I watched some of this video last night. And when I was holding the camera up under there saying, hey, can you see where this is leaking from? I don't know if anybody noticed, but that bolt right there is missing. I don't remember taking that out. But that's where the coolant was coming from, out of one of the front timing cover bolts. Very odd. Put a bolt in it. I also discovered this very bottom one was missing. That's just weird to me, but it doesn't matter. I still have the water pump and everything coming, and I did douse it all out with a fresh bottle of water to see if it's going to leak anymore. But anyway, I didn't notice that until today, and that's where it all seemed to be coming from. And yeah, so anyway, that's where that leak was, or is. More to come on that. Anything for this can be had rather easily. First thing, I think, since all I got to do over here is hook up that fuel line, these 2 fuel lines, and mount that pump. I'm going to set you up maybe where you can see me do that, and I'm going to cut those lines and hook that pump up real quick. All right, so the first thing I'm going to try and do here is get this fuel pump put on. Then I can cut my little lines coming up here and attach them. And then get my, supply line and everything here. So I'm going to put the bolt in. I'm going to put one gasket on. Put the spacer on. Put the gasket on. Put the spacer on. Put the gasket on. All right, now hopefully the cam is at such a spot where it won't fight me a whole bunch trying to get this in. Lube that up, you suppose. Probably couldn't hurt. I don't see how that can hurt to be greased up a little bit. Oh, duh. All right, well, don't be stupid and try it that way the first time. What an idiot. And get your bolt line back up. Make sure it's through both your gaskets. And Put it in there. Those are 12s. All right, I just run those up snug for the time being because I want to make sure I can get these fuel lines on. And I need about that much to that much. Oh yeah, looks like plenty of room there. So I'm going to cut these hoses. I like these clippers here. They'll cut through just about anything. They're cheap. They're PCV pipe cutters, not PVC. Yeah, they are. Yeah, PVC, not PCV. Been mixing those up. Always do. All right, so the other one, about to there. I got new clamps for all this. I think I can get all this on pretty easily. I hope. Set that over there where I can't find it in a minute. There's that one. All right, so, oh, clamps. Don't forget to put your clamps on first. You'll be glad you did. Yeah, I think you can trust me on that one. All right, so that one's gonna go to my return line. So I can shove it. I can shove it down on that one and then up onto this one. Can't I? Come on, baby. Slide on up there. All right, let me grab some needle nose. Needle nose can be a lot of help when you're trying to move lines and things around. All right. Oh, I only put one clamp on. See, I just said don't fight it without your clamps on. I only put one on. Idiot. Stimpy, you idiot. All right. Now, I can push that one up to where it's got plenty of bite. And where is the clamp on it? Can you even see? Is my head blocking that whole damn thing? I hope not. All right. And yes, I am down far enough on each to get plenty of bite there. And this can even be adjusted ever so slightly. We'll crank those clamps down. One thing that's a little peculiar in this pack of clamps that I ordered from Amazon with this hose and the fuel pump and all, it came as like a package deal. Some of the clamps are 1/4 inch and some are 6 millimeter. And that's just kind of odd. But it was a fuel pump with hose and clamps for cheaper than I could buy individually. You know how that goes sometimes, but you can't crank these clamps super hard or they have a tendency to want to give up on you. So down to this bottom one. All right, I'll be right back with the other ones. Okay, I got that second one on and I remembered both clamps the first time. I promise I did. Now I'm putting this last one on, which is the feed line for over here. And I'm really excited at this point because we're getting really close to seeing if she'll go or no. Hopefully yes. I guess there's a reason why you got all 10 of these clamps and this hose for cheap. The hose looks fine, but the clamps, if you go a little bit too tight with them, they just come apart. All right, there's my fuel lines hooked up here. Fuel lines hooked up in the back, vent open over here. Fuel line running in. Now, I had a question. for you, maybe. Since this one ran to the vacuum advance and to this port, and it opened up and made vacuum flow, shouldn't this be hooked up to the vacuum port it shared previously? I think so. So I'm going to hook this vacuum port up to this bottom one on the carburetor like it was before, only they had a metal pipe, and I'm not going to put that on. Okay, just to recap that vacuum, a difference thing here, change I'm making. I had that one plugged off because I said it didn't go anywhere. Then it dawned on me this one won't have anything if that doesn't have vacuum to it to open up and share. It went to this port on the carburetor. This one, right on to the right as you're facing the carb from this side of the screws. So that's where it went before. That's where I'm putting it, because I think when this thing opens up, it's got to have its vacuum from somewhere. That goes to the advance. The other one goes up here. Got the other ones for the carburetor, ran correctly without any other issue from the way they were from the other description. So enough about that. Fuel lines hooked up. Hopefully that coolant leak fixed. Let's put plugs in this baby and fire it up here. Let me get some stuff ready. You know, if you see that big wet spot on the hood up there, that's where the clutch fluid flies when I push the clutch pedal. And you see it's really starting to make a puddle down there. I was playing with it. Because see, many trucks, another reason why I am definitely wanting this in my own fleet forever. Mini trucks about the best for wounded knee the way mine is. Okay, I can't say that for everybody. Changing that PCV valve, that one's a metal one. I could probably clean it. It's clearly not rattling. Hear it rattling. I will probably go ahead and just clean that one so that I can have a spare for next time, since that's a nice metal one. Going ahead and putting that hose on. And there's the little clipper on that one, so that's good. Let's go straight to rotor, because that'll be easy. Yeah, about the inexpensive parts, I got the fuel pump and all the tune-up pieces and the pedal pads and the wipers, and that was all like $109 or something like that. Now, did I take the screws? Oh, it comes with new screws. Thank you. Hey, this one's even got the firing order written out on it, even though I kept this one because I knew it'd have it too. But anyway, yeah. So that's pretty inexpensive. The carburetor was $100. I'm going to go to my buddies and hopefully we're going to try and rebuild that stock carb, at least see how well we can get to clean up, perhaps. All right, there goes that one. There goes that one. I did put that rotor on there, didn't I? Yeah, that was the PCV valve. All right, let me grab a screwdriver. Run these up. The plugs are pre-gapped, but I'm gonna check them anyway. 032 is where they should be. I will check that real quick here. Sorry you missed part of that. Putting the pieces on there, the cap and the rotor, I was out of frame. All right, I got the Denso replacement plug that this would call for. These come pre-gapped, but I always like to check them, and I know there's a lot better gappers than these wheel ones here. But this is supposed to be at 32. You run them around and it's at 32. Sorry if I didn't have that one in frame. I always like to check them first anyway. Even though they say they come pre-gapped, that one was fine. The ones on an angle, you got to be careful when you're going around. Yeah, see that one's like 28, needs to be over there to 32. Shit. I'm trying to show you what I'm doing. I'm looking at the damn thing. All right, so that one wasn't set, even though they say pre-gap. Never trust that pre-gap thing. All right, you getting excited like I am here that this is about to get ready to go. Now, 3/0's way over here. You put it on there and slide her up. That one goes right to 32. Hope you can see that. So that one was right. We got 2 right, 1 wrong. Thank goodness it was still in the box. You don't want to drop your spark plugs if you can help it, because, yeah, they got porcelain on them. All right, so 3 out of 4 were correct. I'm going to pull all these plugs out. I'm going to grab my plug wrench, or pull these rags out. Grab my plug wrench and commence to installing these units right here. Okay, what are your thoughts on anti-seize? I always put anti-seize when it's a steel plug and aluminum head. It makes good sense to me to do that. So I will be anti-seizing my plugs gently around their threads so that they will come out and play next time I want to play with them. Sorry, I'm probably not in camera again. I put way too much on, which is okay. It won't hurt when you torque them down. You got your plug holder that actually would hold them. That would be nice. I'm going to put a piece of tape in here. All right, if the rubber ring in your plug holder isn't doing its thing, put a piece of electrical tape in a corner of the socket, stick it in there, and then when you stick your plug in, it's going to take a second batch of that. So yeah, sometimes 2 coats, eh? So I'm going to just stuff that in there and see if it'll hold a plug. Whoop. Trying to do some stuff while you're looking at the camera don't work. See, 2's too many. 1 wasn't enough. Now I'll be able to get my socket back off of that, but at least I'll be able to have my plug in there and get it started. My needle nose pliers have been coming in handy a lot here. I'm going to go through and get all of these started, and then I'll go back through and crank them all down. Leave in the comments what impact setting you use on your spark plugs. Just kidding. Or am I? There is not a lot of fender space here. The rest of these 4 plugs, or the remaining 3, are going to go just like that. When you're cranking them down, you'll come to those little crush washers. You'll feel them hit, and then you'll kind of feel them crush, and then it comes tight. That's all you do for those. All right, now I went with the least expensive wires I could find of a good brand. That was NGK, and they happen to be blue. So blue wires it is. 1. And these didn't come with any kind of silicone. I think I'm going to put some silicone on those. Hang on. All right, I happen to have some for a 4-cylinder. So just a little dab. Damn flap, I should have cut off. I just put a little bit around the lip so it goes in. Can you see that? And then when you push it on, it goes on easier. And if you need to, there it goes, take it off, they come off easier. Found it. All right, I'm going to repeat the procedure. 1, 3, 4, 2. That's the firing order. Well, okay, aren't those wires pretty? I have fresh oil. I have a fresh distributor and rotor cap. I have fresh plugs and plug wires. I have fresh fuel pump and carburetor and lines and filter. I have not checked to see if it has all 4 of the suck, squeeze, bang, blow things it's supposed to have. It does have compression. Hopefully it has fuel and spark. Exhaust is kind of a gimme. So I'm going to hook the battery up, hook my little starter button up, go in here and turn the key on. Yahoo! I am really getting excited for this because it actually could start now. I'll probably crank it a sec and nothing will happen. Oh, I never finished bolting down the fuel pump. Good call, you guys. I left it loose until I got it. The line's hooked up and I forgot to crank it down. Dang. That'd have been a mess. Maybe not too bad. All right, that's one. I know it's over there somewhere. Nope. Come on. Need a flashlight. Where is it? Oh, there we go. All right, now, I know it isn't going to start at first because it isn't going to be getting any fuel. I am going to watch the filter in the back and the fuel thing in the window here as I crank it. Now I have key on. I have remote starter hooked up. Let's double check neutral. So the dog and I get in there and pretend like we're driving and stuff. I want to make sure it's still where it needs to go. I'm going to push the button now. Oh, there's a rag in the way. And the cover on the carburetor. All right, see, I should have checked before I pushed the button. Now I'm going to push the button again. I'm going to go back and check the fuel pump. See. Oh, yeah. Yes, it has fuel in the filter, so let's get some of it up here. Oh, I see it coming up in the bowl now. Oh, I am getting excited now for fuel, the possibility of fuel. Oswald, you get out of the way, buddy. He just loves anything that makes weird noise. All right, let's see now. We're getting some fuel up to the carbonator. Oh my gosh, do you see it running? Hush, Oswald. That's so awesome. Oswald, shut up. Stop, stop. He barks at the exhaust. I'm gonna go stop him. Okay, stopped him. It's still running. Oh my gosh. Well, I know it has oil pressure. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I know, I'm excited. Yeah, I know it doesn't have a clutch. And some other things. Look at that engine set there. Don't want to rev it too much. It does not sound noisy or clattery at all. See if I can show you what I was seeing in here. I don't know if you can see, yeah, there's oil flowing all over the place in there. So that makes me feel good. Oil pressure gauge will definitely go on. I'm not getting a lot of blow by there. These crazy belts, I want to be careful I'm not standing directly in front of them. But look, I'm not leaking either. And now it went up on high idle all by itself. I think I may have adjusted the cable up too tight. I'm going to shut it off and then I'm going to check that. All right, I adjusted that throttle cable. It should start with the key. Look at that, would you? All right. Everything may not be as right as it can be. You hear that running? It's not leaking coolant, so that puts off that part of the job. It's not leaking fuel anywhere. The float's a little high in the float bolt, but that's okay. She's shaking a little bit now. She was running pretty solid earlier. I think if it had an air cleaner on it, it'd idle better. Yeah, when I take my hand off and let a bunch in, I need an air cleaner right away. All right, I hope you can hear me yelling over all of this. It is relatively quiet. I'm gonna grab my temp gun. All right, here before the thermostat, we're 125, 125 above the thermostat, 116, 115. Oh, we're really cool there. Let's see what we are over here at this hose. Looks like thermostat is probably stuck. Let's go to the head, shall we? Cylinder 1. Cylinder 2. Cylinder 3. Oh, that one's really run. Oh, wait a minute. Let me get in the right spot there. Oh, why did it do that? Because it needs an air filter? Fuel filter's gross, but not that gross. All right, let me see if I can get her to fire back up here. Hang on. All right, quick as I hit the key, it fires up. But without that air cleaner, whoop, it doesn't want to idle for me now. Oh, I bet you there's some adjustments on that carburetor I need to make. But I want to get my air cleaner before that. I'm going to have to come up with some kind of an air cleaner here. I am super excited, you betcha, on that note right there. Now, I did look back here. It threw quite a bit of mouse nest out of that muffler. Sorry if you were sleeping, but you're gone now. I might be able to cut out part of this enough I can put a filter on that. I don't know. I'm just going to look for an aftermarket one or a used one for cheap. Let's see. Fuel is still good in the carburetor. I'm saying it either has something to do with an adjustment on the side that I should probably have to make. Yeah, or something. I don't know a lot about carburetors. But yeah, I wanted to temperature all the cylinders and see just for shits and giggles what was going on. But man, it sure did sound good when it was running. This show has gone on long enough, but it is finally running. We're going to do some fine tuning, get a clutch line put in and some brake lines bled or whatever that needs. Wow, I'm excited. I can't wait to take this out. I sure hope you're enjoying this as much as I am. I'll get my new wiper blades put on. My brake pedal pad came for the other side, so I got both those new on. I can crank the key and start my truck. I am thrilled. So, please like if you like my show. Please subscribe if you want to see some more. Lots on the Tundra, lots on the Mini. Who knows what else is coming. I mean, there's going to be a lot of content on this project. I'm so excited to see it run today. Oswald just barked at the exhaust as hard as he could because he's happy it's running. And Slim fled the scene because he is not happy it's running. But I'm happy that you joined me out here in the shop. Do the free, easy, and painless things like and subscribe and check links and leave a comment and crap like that. Super appreciate you joining me out here today. Have a super great day.